Okay, everybody, welcome into the Pillow Talk edition, Pugs and Parker, the second of two streams that I do each and every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast and streaming platform. The first one, we call that High Noon. Hold on, got a little bit of noise, a little buzz in the headphones. Don't like that. Don't mean to be. That's not going to work. Why is that happening? That's even worse now. Sorry, I'm rushed today. Now it works. Now it doesn't work. Now it does work. What? Come on. Now it doesn't work. I'll just do it like that. I don't care. Phone is now upside down. This is the second of two streams that we do each and every day right here on the Radio Misfits podcast and streaming platform. Forgive me, I'm a bit discombobulated here at the moment. There's stuff going on. Parker's running late. Parker is now rushing home with his 15 kids packed into the front cab of a 15-year-old. No, it's like 25 years old. 25-year-old pickup truck, rushing back from the Tyler branch of the Chinese buffet. I just got a text. Leaving the Chinese buffet now. I'll be right there. So he's on the way. That's okay. You know what? I don't like the phone being upside down. I'm just gonna put up with the noise. That's fine. You guys can't hear it. I can hear it. It's in my headphones. So yeah. So we're gonna he'll be here. Don't worry. He'll be here. He's got stuff going on. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Bill. Greetings from Kankakee, Illinois, city of the future. Well, if that's the future, Bill, I am quite familiar with Kankakee. That's how the Native Americans pronounced it. Kankakee. Kankakee is about 20 miles. Not 20 miles, about 40 miles, 50 miles south of Shikaku. I don't know, Illinois. Whatever, that's a French word. And it's about 150 miles south of Milwaukee. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably how the Indians said Milwaukee, Chicago, and Kankakee. I don't know. I just assume it is. Of course, Milwaukee is in the state of Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin. Hey, I believe that James Parker is going to be bringing a story today that comes directly from the great state of Wisconsin. So yeah, that'll be fun. Man, it's been a long day. I can tell you, we are 2 days into Lent, and so far I have hit my goal as far as I'm dieting. 2 days in, feeling good. Still got a couple hours. I tend to eat after the show. I eat a little something. Let's make sure that I eat something good. Like last night, I had carrots. It's better than, I guess, a thing of ice cream. Carrots. So that's a thing. And I did my run. I got my run in. I did 3 miles today. That's right. Yesterday, I did 2 miles on the first day. Remember, I told you now, for Lent, I'm going to be leading a Spartan existence. I am going to be focusing on things that maybe need to be focused on. I'm going to be writing 2 hours a day. In addition to doing our streams, I'm going to run at least 2 miles a day, and I'm going to be on a diet. Because I'm telling you, boat season's coming. It was 80 degrees. It was in the mid 80s. I got my car. You know what my car said? My car said 91 degrees. Now it was parked in the sun, and but I got my car. I'm like, no way. I had my air conditioning on. The air conditioning is on here in the Comfort Nest guest house. All right, so we're going to fill a little bit of time before Parker gets here. Travis, listen to the Voom dot today. Get on him, Leslie. Get on him. Leslie's in charge of bouncing the Russian trolls out of the chat room. Sometimes we get Russian trolls who show up. Speaking of Russian trolls, we got kind of a bit of a situation happening there in the Ukraine, however you say it. You call it the Ukraine or Ukraine. I don't know. Yeah, the things got a little squirrely in the last couple of hours. Hey, you guys, no fighting around the nuclear power plants, okay? Just take it outside. Somebody's got to be the mom in this situation. The living room has a whole bunch of Fabergé eggs in it. There's some beautiful vases. And, the kids are bouncing about. Mom always said, don't play ball in the house. Somebody needs to be the mom. Somebody needs to go, hey, take it outside. You're going to break that nuclear power plant. And that's exactly what's going on in the Ukraine town of Zaporizhia. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. That sounds a little bit Italian. Sounds like I put a bit of a Southern European spin on it. Zaporizhia. Probably more like Zaporizhia. I don't know, whatever. But all right, so here's the latest. So some fighting broke out. The Russians this afternoon advanced on the nuclear power plant at Zaporizhia in Ukraine. It is a fun fact. I mean, the whole story is not so fun, but fun fact, it's the largest nuclear power facility in the Ukraine. And so they start fighting, and apparently the Russians began shelling the nuclear power plant. They just started blowing, and it's on fire. As we speak, it's on fire. It has been on fire for the last couple of hours. Ukraine is basically, they're on a hotline to Russia going, okay, hold on, uncle, hold on. Everybody calm down. Stop. And Russia's going, yet. And they're going, come on, seriously, calm down for a second. There is a fire at the nuclear power plant. You gotta let our firemen in to put the fire out, and then we'll start the fighting again. And Russia's like, okay, you can go in, So the firemen went in there, and then they started firing on the firemen. Jeez. All right, yeah, we got video. We got video of it. I'll show you some video of it. This is insane. This is it. Okay, so there was a live feed that I was watching earlier. The nuclear power plant actually started streaming live to their YouTube page and they started streaming before the attack occurred. They knew they were coming, and they're like, we want the whole world to see this. We're just gonna go live. We're gonna start streaming, and you people are gonna see what we're dealing with. We're a nuclear power plant, and these idiots. Mom always said, don't play ball in the house. All right, here you go. So this is what it's looking like. See if we get some sound. We get some sound on this. I don't think there is any sound. Well, here's the plant. That's a picture of the plant. There's a bomb. There's something. I don't know, boom, something. I don't know what that is. I have no idea. Looks very pretty. Looks like a rock concert back there. What else is happening here? Do we see anything else? Or is that the fire? Is that the fire? Is that where the fire is happening? Where's the what's this now? It looks like alien light bulbs are landing. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know what those are. I'm not sure. Oh, no, there's the fire. There's the fire burning over here. And there's apparently multiple fires burning. And it depends on who your source is, because some of them are saying are those bullets? Are we seeing? Yeah, we're seeing like tracer bullets and stuff. This is a nuclear power plant, for crying out loud. We'll watch. Yeah, we'll watch it again. There are some reports that are saying that the fire is contained to the administration area. And then there are other stories that are saying that the place is completely engulfed. Here's the most important thing. The reactors are all being shut down, okay? So that's good. They had like 5 of the 6 reactors shut down the last time I checked. There was one that was still working. But also the radiation levels are apparently, as of now, they're normal. Like there is no leak, there's no breach of the nuclear reactors, but the Russians are still bombing it. They're sending in. I mean, come on, man. Come on. It's insane. You would think that they would. What do you mean? What do you mean I should show all videos like that? What are you talking about there, Jeff? What do you mean? Here, I got more. I got more videos. I got more. We can show more. Although I think that there's a good possibility that they might all be the same video. Let's see what this is. Let's see what this one is. Live video. Oh, let's see what this. Oh, this is a YouTube video. Oh, this is a long one. This is a long one, y'all. All right, so we'll just let this one play out while we sit and talk about this situation, because this situation is bonkers. How did they let this happen? I think this is from the live stream. Yes, it is branded in the lower right corner with the branding of the power plant. Remember, the power plant, in anticipation of what was coming, they started streaming, and they got the whole damn thing. So here you go. Let's watch this. Let's see what we're dealing with. Any sound? No, no sound. All right, this one is like 18 minutes worth. Doesn't look like there's a fire burning yet. I'll bring you the latest news here while we just let the video roll. This is no bueno. This is not cool, Russia. Not cool. Let's see here. Who's had the best coverage of this? All right, 1 minute ago. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so 2 minutes ago. Now, this Zaporizhzhia power plant is located in the town of Energodar. Maybe the root of Energodar is like energy. I don't know. Why would it be English? I don't know. But it seems like a town that has the largest nuclear power plant in all of Europe. It might be like the biggest thing going in that town. Like, I bet the high school football team are the Fighting Isotopes, stuff like that. Mayor of Energodar, Dmitry Orlov, says that there are injured at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Boris Johnson just recently spoke out, saying that he spoke to Zelensky, president of Ukraine. He said that he would call an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council in the coming hours over the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, the British Prime Minister's press office has said. Situation remains extremely difficult, says the head of the Zaporizhzhia Regional State Administration. The IAEA org, I don't know what that is. Let's see what the let me see. What is that? Oh, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Okay, the International Atomic Energy says that they are aware of the situation and have already contacted Ukrainian authorities. The IAEA is aware of reports of shelling at the power plant and we are in contact with Ukrainian authorities. Hey, James Parker's here just in time to watch a nuclear power plant blow up. Yay! Oh!
I would like to register the hot sports opinion that I am against blowing up nuclear power plants.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at what point I started the show by saying, okay, this is the point where, like, the mom of the world, whoever the mom of the world is, she needs to step in and go, hey, take it outside. You're going to break the vase. I mean, this is like, you want to have your little wars. That's fine. But let's all agree, we keep it away from the nuclear power plants. We don't shell nuclear power plants.
Well, this has been a suspiciously docile war in the fact that there hasn't been any real bombing raids. You could see 300 MiGs flying over a city and decimating Kiev if they want to. They haven't even gone to the trouble of doing some of the normal stuff that we see just conventionally happening. Like, I know when America goes in and occupies the country, we knock out the power first thing. We start knocking out their communication, their infrastructure.
Right. But that's not because they didn't want to do it. What we're finding here is that is because of the copious amounts of javelin and anti-aircraft machinery that Ukraine had. Russia didn't send all their planes in because on the first night, if you remember, they shot down like 3 or 4 planes in the first couple of days. They shot down 2 troop transport planes on day 2. So I think they went, "Huh, they got stuff we didn't know they had."
Yeah,
Okay, plan
it's
2.
also it's next door, so they can just launch missiles from a missile silo. They don't even
Yeah,
have to have airplanes doing the runs on it here. They
right.
could be lobbing missiles from boats in the Black Sea.
They have though. They've launched over 3,000 missiles.
Right, but right, but
It's
they're not taking out the power. They're not taking out the
yeah,
communications. I mean, look at all the lights are still on. Look at this picture here.
yeah. Well,
So
this is a
this
nuclear
isn't
power plant. Yeah.
this isn't the all out destructive war that we kind of associate with the worst of what war is. This is
Are you not following this? Are you not seeing the pictures of Kharkiv? Are you not seeing it is pretty all out destructive. There are entire major cities of millions of people that are flattened. Now, we're not seeing or getting the numbers of the mortality of it all. We're not seeing these I mean, we're seeing enough, but we're not seeing tens of thousands of citizens being wiped out, because most of them, went into shelters. But I mean, man, no, they're missiling the hell out of these towns. Kharkiv in particular, there's going to be nothing left of that town.
well, look that's no. I have to push back on that because you mean to tell me that Russia's throwing everything they've got at the neighbor next door and they can't even wipe them out?
What we're learning, yeah, we're learning that everything Russia had is not what everything we thought they had. That they are probably more of a paper tiger with a lot. They were talking about who was it? It was General Wesley Clark. He was talking about the machinery, the military stuff. See, we here in the United States, we have this insane defense budget where every year we try and buy and create, and we have research and development on the latest stuff. They're using shit that's like 30, 40 years old. They don't crank out the new equipment the way that we did. And it's always been sort of just taken for granted that, oh, I'm sure they got all kinds of. We're seeing that not really. Dude, their soldiers are going hungry because they were dependent on the rail lines. I mean,
The rail lines. What is this? 1860?
exactly. Putin's plan was that on night 1, he was going to take Kharkiv, and he tried to take Kharkiv, and they were going to use Kharkiv as their base of operations. Short of that, if they got bogged down, they were going to rely on restocking the army through the rail lines because all the rail lines lead because they used to be friends. All the rail lines lead between Russia and the Ukraine. And the Ukraine Defense Forces on night 1 blew up all the rail tracks. And so now they're like all hungry and robbing grocery stores because they don't have food. I mean, I think you're right, but I also think that there's something to be said that the military strategy that has been put into place here was a big mistake. Sure, they got some nukes and they could probably nuke the hell out of this whole place. But as I've said all along, he didn't want to do that because he wants to be able to occupy and then exploit the country. He wants that farmland. He wants the infrastructure in place so that he can continue to cash checks out of the Ukraine. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because every person he kills is a potential taxpayer that he could be occupying in a month or
Right.
two. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, and also he doesn't want to be an occupier fighting an insurgency for the next 20 years.
Right. So he
It's
doesn't want to make a whole lot of enemies if he doesn't have to. I hear you.
precise.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of the point. Like this isn't the all out destructive war for survival, where it's you or me, buddy. This is him just trying to forcefully annex
Yeah,
a
he
neighbor.
he severely under first of all, he underestimated the welcome that he was going to receive. He thought that it would be relatively easy. He underestimated the army of the Ukraine. He underestimated their defense forces, and his plan in the beginning simply didn't work. He tried to take all the airports. They still don't have the Hostomel and not and Antonov Airport in Hostomel. They still don't have that. That's the military airport that's just outside of Kyiv. He wanted to take that on night 1. He tried to take it on night 1 so that he could land his troops in there on that because it had military grade runways where you could land these big giant planes. They still haven't taken it. They're fighting like crazy. And the paratroopers on night one that he dropped in there a week ago now, he dropped in there to take the airbase so that they could land the planes. Those guys are still pinned down in the woods around Hostomel. By the way, the whole town of Hostomel is pretty much trashed. I mean, it's flattened, but it's just not going. I see what you're saying. Like, it seems to me that the Russian bear could have just gone into this cage and fucked some shit up. But
Mhm.
that's not the military plan that they enacted. And the plan that they did enact got shoved right down their throats. It did not work. And so now they're like, how far do we take this? I I don't know. This nuclear plant is concerning. It'll probably be nothing, but it is. You got to be concerned when they're just shelling a nuclear plant.
Right, and you know that there's a plan B, you know that there's a plan C. There might even be a plan D, because they're not throwing everything at this. They're not streaming tons of people across, like hundreds of thousands at a time across the border. They're not sending hundreds of fighter jets. The fact that 4 got knocked down told me they didn't even really try hard then. So
Well, no, that was 4 in the first 2 nights. Those were the
right.
4 that were reported. There's been a lot more since. They're taking planes out of the sky fairly regularly. It's not even being reported anymore. On the first night, it was like, "They got one, they got" I mean, we have seen videos of them just picking helicopters out of the sky. I mean, so it's like a regular thing now.
Man,
So
that is
what I'm
so
saying is
wild.
I don't think we're hearing about. I If he could, he doesn't control the air. And it can't be because he doesn't want to. It's gotta be because there's something happening that is stopping the vaunted Russian Air Force from controlling the airspace over Kiev. Uh, Now they just got the Ukrainians just got 30 new MiG jets. They picked them up in Florida, in Poland, Florida, same thing. So I don't know. I don't. I'm with you. It's very confusing when you consider what we had expected from Putin's army and what we're actually seeing. And you said it yourself. This is their next door neighbor. They didn't even have to go across the globe. This is
Right, and they didn't see. This is what we didn't learn when they went into Georgia, when they went into South Ossetia and Abkhazia, and then we didn't have to see this much of the Russian army in action when they annexed the Crimea and that other eastern province, because they just kind of took that and they didn't push their luck, and no one pushed back, and it was just kind of a, well, what are we gonna do? And this time, the second they pushed too far, the answer to that was a little surprising, and so. Um, this is emboldening Ukrainians, and it should. They're probably more likely to fight this guy off because they see that it's not such a done deal. They're not the Washington Generals after all, and I mean that the basketball team, not the Generals in Washington.
Mhm.
But think about the other wannabe break-off republics of what is now Russia. The Chechen civil war that lasted for about 5 years there was an almost done deal, along with Dagestan trying to get out of there. You know that China and the Koreans and the Japanese all want Russia out of what is that eastern port over there that's just kind of up Vladivostok or something. Come on, you know this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds right. That sounds like just a bullshit.
That's a little bullshit. But yeah, no, there's a chunk of far east Asia that used to be under Japan's influence, and then it was under Korea's influence, and it was under China's influence. So it's this little territory that they all used to fight over, but now Russia controls it. And they're like, hey, that's we're supposed to bully that little area around, not you.
You're offering though, and I hear what you're saying, but that it's a completely different geographical consideration for the Western world. When you talk about the issues they had in the Georgian Republic, when you talk about the issues in Chechnya, when you talk about all of that, you're talking about former Soviet republics that are in the interior of the far reaches. Okay. This is Ukraine. Ukraine borders up against Poland, which is a NATO nation. And this is a different location. So you are absolutely right. When they went into Chechnya, the rest of the world was like, where the hell's Chechnya? But when they went into Ukraine, rest of the world, let's just be honest, America. When they went into Chechnya, we were all like, hey, where is that? Isn't that like in the middle of Siberia or something? You ask the average person to pick it out on the map. They couldn't. I don't even know that I could. I could probably get a general area, but I don't think I could, pinpoint it exactly. Ukraine is different. That's Western Europe essentially. That is right next to Poland, and there are a whole lot of Ukrainians in this country. What did we know about Chechnyan? The guy who the Boston Marathon bombers. That's pretty much all we knew about what Chechnyan was.
Yeah, I
Right?
still don't know a whole lot about it. There's like a bunch of
Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. That's the most famous American Chechnyan. So we didn't really care. But Ukraine is different, man. Most major American northern cities have an entire Ukraine town. Like in Chicago, we've got the Ukraine Village. New York.
what? Do they really? They have a Ukraine village?
Oh my God, Ukraine Village, dude! Didn't you hear my spiel? I have a lot of friends who are Ukrainian, and all their grandmas are from the Ukraine and all that.
Shut up.
There's an
Really?
entire oh God, there's an entire stretch of the southwest side of Chicago, right by Midway Airport, that is all Ukrainian and Lithuanian restaurants. And then in downtown Chicago, not downtown, but when you get closer in the city on the north side, there's the Ukrainian Village where you get all the. New York has Little Odessa, which is like a major. It's like Little Italy. It's the same thing. It's like a big area. Most of the northern cities that had factories had a bunch of Eastern European immigrants come there. So, I mean, we've got Polish. Chicago's big with Eastern Europe, big with Polish, big with Ukrainians, big with Lithuanians. We're lousy with them. So, but in other major American cities.
Lithuanians.
Oh, Lugans. Don't get me started on the dirty Lugans.
What's the story with the story? They're called Lugans. Is that what a Lithuanian is?
That's the slang.
I've never heard that word until right now.
You've never heard
A Lugan.
Yeah, a Lugan. Yeah, what does he know? He's just a dumb Lugan. Yeah, that's
Dude,
what you say.
Aren't I supposed to, for the guy from the South, from a horse ranch, aren't I supposed to be teaching you ethnic slurs?
Oh no, we've got all different kinds up there. you've got the really good ones when it comes to people, from Africa. We handle the rest of the world, especially Eastern Europe.
So do they get mad if you call them a Lugan?
No. It's
They're
it's
cool?
like it's
Okay.
like referring to my people as Shanty Irish, or if you call your Italian friend a
Mix.
Dago. It's not quite as inflammatory as like the N word, or calling a Mexican, the
Is
S word.
anything, yeah.
But it is, no, Lugans, Lithuanians are Lugans, Ukrainians are Yukis, Polacks are DPs. That's the other thing. DPs. They're all DPs.
Wait, why aren't they called Polacks?
They are called Polacks. Yeah.
Okay.
But most of the like how here in Texas, if you have a maid come and clean your house, what ethnicity is she?
Hispanic of some sort.
100%. 100% of the time.
It might be Mexican, it might be Guatemalan, but
right.
she's
If
Hispanic.
somebody is not where I'm from, where I'm from, you want your house cleaned, you get yourself a good Polish cleaning lady. You get yourself a good DP to come in there. DP stands for displaced person. And all of the people from the Soviet republics that emigrated to America when they had the chance were labeled as DPs, displaced person. So you get a nice DP Polak, you get them in there, they'll clean up your house nice. Maybe you need what would a Lugan do? You get I don't know. Mostly it's Lugan probably clean your house too.
Plumbing maybe?
I don't know. No, that's Irish. You get yourself a good Irish plumber. Irish plumbers, Italian bookmaker, Polish cleaning lady. I don't know. That's Greek. Every corner store, every corner market is run by a Greek guy. That's it. You got to go up to the Greeks. That's pretty much standard.
We don't call them bodegas.
Bodega is more of a New York thing.
I know, but that's like
yes.
the Greeks thing.
Yeah, running bodegas, running the Greeks. You get every neighborhood. You got to run out before there were 7-Elevens on every corner. 7-Elevens were basically a suburban thing, but in the city neighborhoods, you'd run up to the Greeks. Where you going? I'm running up to the Greeks. Get a pack of cigarettes. You know, that kind of
Yeah, back when people used to smoke.
yeah, all the time. I forgot how we got here. Anyway, I don't
Ukrainian updates, that's all.
Ukraine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Leslie says here Greeks all have small family steakhouses. Steakhouses, boy, you know what? I'll tell you, they've really branched out because one of the things that the Greek community, and there's a huge Greek community, Greek town in Chicago as well. Here's the thing about the northern cities, James. I've said this to you before. The North made you guys down in the South all live together. It's like we forced the integration on you guys, where you guys all got to live together and you better get along. Meanwhile, cities like New York, Chicago, Boston are the most segregated cities in America. And it ain't just black and white. It's every single, you have your own neighborhood. The Italians have their own neighborhood. The Irish have their own neighborhood. The Germans have the Greeks. It's crazy. And when I came down here, I lived in Plano. And this is going to shock some of you people, but this is just how it is up there. I lived in a house in Plano, and there was like a couple of black families, but professional people, a black family on my name. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I've said this before. In 4 years of high school, I had one black kid in my school. One black kid. That's it.
That's wild. What did y'all
What?
do for a basketball, football, baseball?
We were terrible at all that stuff. We were good at baseball and we were good at wrestling. That's
We
about
had
it.
more black kids in theater.
Yeah. See, we had one black kid in all 4 years of the high school that I went to. And I had no black. There was one black kid in my entire town. It was a town of like 50,000 people. Tony Foy. He was like the only black kid in my school going all through like grade school. And this wasn't like, oh, well, that's just classist, because no, this was like working class, normal blue collar town. This is where, but black people lived a couple of towns over. Black people lived in Markham. Black people lived in Midlothian. Like there are towns that are just all black in Chicago. There are black suburbs that are just all black in Chicago. And then there's ones that are just all white. And that's kind of changed a little bit. But when I moved down here and I moved to Plano, I was like, would you look at the diversity around here? And that's when I kind of came up with my thought that, oh my God, it's because we forced the South to integrate. And then we just didn't do it. We just didn't do it ourselves. We were just like,
yeah, y'all are up there. It's like, I can't believe y'all are so racist.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
That's funny.
Well, so we got a lot of Yukis, we got a lot of Lugans, we got a lot of Polacks, we got a lot of
We don't have
Irish.
any of that, dude. Where I grew up, we have whites, blacks, and Mexicans. That's it. Like, and we all speak English, and no one speaks Greek or Polish or Uk.
I got one for you. I forgot about another group, another ethnic group that we got a lot of in Chicago. We got bohunks.
I have no idea.
You have no idea what a bohunk is?
Bohunk.
Anyone from Chicago want to tell James what a bohunk is? We got lots of bohunks. We got bohunks. We're lousy with bohunks. We're lousy with Lugans. We're lousy with bohunks are bohemians. And I don't mean like the hippies from the 50s. I mean people who yes, people who ethnically identify as bohemians from Bohemia. Bohunks.
Bohunks, huh? We have some Czechs down in West where that fertilizer plant blew up. And when I was a kid, Czech stop. When I was a kid, you could actually sometimes hear people speak in Czech, but I hadn't ever in the last 30 years.
Hold on. I'm asking Google what a slang term for a Lithuanian is. I want to see if this is just something.
If Lugan is in like Urban Dictionary or something.
What is a slang term for a Lithuanian person?
Lithuanian slur.
Lithuanian person. What is a slang term for a Lithuanian person? Racial. We've got a racial slur. Dirty. Yeah, none of these are 12 Lithuanian words that need to have any. Oh, I got one for you. Woo, this is bad. Hey, we are having a cultural conversation. Do you know what a sheenie is?
Sheenie, no.
Yeah. You don't know what a sheenie is?
Hmm.
Ugh.
I
You
can't
don't have
even
many
guess.
you don't have many sheenies around here? Do you know what if I called them a shy? Do you know what a shy is? Yeah, we're lousy with sheenie and shy around here.
No, I don't.
Those are Jewish people. Sheenies are Jewish people and shies are Jewish people. Shy comes from the Shakespearean character Shylock, who was the moneylender. So it was like if and that, again, I don't know. These are also. Hey, this is why we stream. We're gonna leave this off any demo tape that we might make. We're probably not gonna have this conversation.
Yeah, we're just gonna get kicked off of YouTube real quick. Hey, is that Lithuanian? I mean, Ukrainian nuclear plant still on fire? How's it doing over there?
All right, let's see what the latest is. Let's see what the latest is. Check him here. Well, the power plant had been streaming. They had been live streaming on a webcam, and they stopped. They stopped streaming, so that's not necessarily a good
Oh
sign.
no! Hey, Leslie knew that was Jewish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty. Well, both of those are pretty well. You know, I'm going to ask what a there's no, yeah, it's still burning from what I can tell. All right, what?
You know what threw me off was the character Shy Baldwin from Miss Maisel, the fictional R&B singer that she opened for. Remember Shy Baldwin?
James, are are you telling me that you watch Mrs. Maisel and we've never talked about Mrs. Maisel?
Oh, we've talked about it before. I
Have we?
love her. You love her. Rachel Brosnan is
I
one of
love
the
her.
top 5 hottest girls I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, I don't think that. As a matter of
Just for
fact,
this character, just
it is a great character. Yeah. And do you know that she in real here's how she's a good actress. This is why she's such a good actress. Doesn't she seem like she's got to be Jewish, right? She's got to be a Jewish girl raised in New York. I mean, there's no way she
is
embodies that
she not?
character.
She's not Jewish?
She's an Irish Catholic girl from like the wealthy Gold Coast of Chicago.
Oh,
She's
that's
like
great.
she's like
That's great.
she's an Irish Catholic girl. Her last name is that's an Irish name. Oh, and do you know who her aunt is? Her
No,
aunt was
no idea.
her aunt was Kate Spade. Remember Kate Spade of Kate Spade Bags?
The one that killed herself like 5 years
Yeah,
ago? Oh,
yeah.
no.
And the Spade comes from, of course, she was married to David Spade's brother. That's where that comes from. So Rachel Brosnahan is what would she be with David Spade? Brother-in-law, brother and sister-in-law?
An ex uncle-in-law.
Oh, uncle-in-law, that's right, because it's not a sister. Yeah. What does Lugan? I'm trying to figure out what is the origin of the name? Urban Dictionary. Okay, hold on. Urban Dictionary Lugan. Let's see what this is. Okay. This might be a Chicago thing. I don't know. Lithuanian American. There you go.
Oh, you found it.
Yes, according to the Urban Dictionary, a Lugan is a Lithuanian American.
That's official.
It's
All right,
official.
can I ask you, go back to the serious questions again?
Mhm.
Do you think Xi Jinping is looking at this and seeing what's going on and thinking, you know what, I might as well just go ahead and try my luck with Taiwan now? Is he gonna send
No,
some boats?
no. I that's you're not out of line. I mean, a lot of people are talking about that, but I don't think so. I think that their neutrality and the way they have uh, not spoken out during this entire thing, when everyone believed that the buildup of troops and them just sitting there and waiting for the Olympics to end, a lot of people thought that that was Putin doing his buddy a solid. But as it turns out, maybe they're not as close as maybe Xi Jinping covets his relationship with the consumer world more than he does just having a friend in Putin. Because I mean, they have abstained from all of the votes in the UN Security Council,
Right.
which
I've
is
noticed that. Yeah.
that's huge because the fear was that they would support Russia and they're not. They're just like staying out of it. And that says a lot about how China is feeling about the reaction the rest of the world is having to Putin. China doesn't want to be a pariah. The thing about China is they just want their corner of the world and they want to control it. I don't believe for a second that China wants to dominate the world. I think Putin wants to dominate Western Europe. I think Putin wants Europe. I think he's got Hitler-esque type designs on Europe. But the Chinese economy, and I've heard you talk about the Chinese economy. They are entirely dependent on us buying their crap. They like the status quo. They'll talk shit back and forth and we'll talk shit to them and we'll have our little trade wars, but ultimately nothing is going to be upended because the entire Chinese economy depends on us buying their garbage. So I think China is laying low here for a reason. Why do you think that Taiwan's got a real issue?
Well, my concern was that if Putin was going to have an easy job annexing more of the Ukraine, then that would make the thought of a Taiwan invasion by China, an occupation there, more likely. But seeing
Yeah.
as how it's stalled, that might be enough for Xi Jinping to rethink what's going on. But if this turns around and Russia can come out of this ahead, and really just the spectacle that the rest of the world's not really jumping in on Russia may be enough to sort of embolden him, because the thought is if he
What do
shows
you mean
off
the
his
rest of the world isn't jumping in on the Russian economy is completely tanking. They're seizing rich dudes' yachts all over the globe. They seized some guy's mansion about an hour ago. They seized some guy's
right.
mansion in Monaco. They just filled it with yellow tape and said, "Yeah, this ain't yours anymore." I mean, and the average person in Russia, their banks are garbage in what to this point had been a global banking system. They can't get Netflix, they can't get Spotify, their cards don't work anywhere. Visa, if you're a Russian bank holder and your card has a Visa emblem on it, it don't work anymore. I mean, there's a lot of pressure coming from a whole bunch of different areas. Russia has been pretty solidly ostracized.
Right, but China looks at that and they're like, "Oh no, what are they going to do? Freeze my visa?" China's worried if we're floating planes over and dropping bombs on
Yeah.
on St. Petersburg and Moscow, then China be like, "Well, there's no way in hell we're going to jack with Taiwan under these circumstances." Now they're doing the math. They're like, "All right, so, we get kicked out the SWIFT system and my visa doesn't work. But other than that, we get to extract resources from Taiwan. Do we send the boats?" So that math, that formula is all constantly being updated with the new information that's coming out of Russia.
But don't you also think it's a completely different calculation on our part, the West? I think, like I said, China wants their corner of the world. I think if China went after Taiwan, we would clutch our pearls and we'd make a lot of fiery speeches, but there would be absolutely nothing we would do. We wouldn't do. Europe is different than the Far East in the eyes of the Americans. We don't really concern ourselves with that's so far away. Now, we would have a problem if they set their eyes on South Korea and Japan and possibly Australia. Now we got a thing we got to worry about. That might
Mhm.
draw Europe into something against. But yeah, I don't. I think that I don't think that Xi Jinping is all that worried about any massive world military response to him taking Taiwan. It'll just be a bunch of fiery speeches in the UN, and it'll be a bunch of pearl clutching. But Europe is different. Europe is different. They're close. They're our cousins. That's a whole different kind of thing.
If you are right and that's what he thinks, then an invasion of Taiwan is going to happen sooner rather than later.
Don't you think an invasion of Taiwan was already in the cards? I mean, I think that that's already been the plan for quite a while. I mean, the way they've
Oh,
taken,
I think they've always wanted to do it.
yeah,
They just didn't know if they could get away with it. And they got a little taste of it with the sort of annexation and the way they've handled the transfer of Hong Kong.
yeah.
I think what they see in Ukraine is half inviting, but also halfway not so inviting in the fact that it's not going so well, and you would just expect the military superiority in just flat out numbers really to make this be a done deal. But we're still what, a week and a half into this, if that. What are we like 9 days into this?
1 week, no, 1 week. Last Thursday was when the first bomb started fall.
Oh my god.
Leslie has another great point. China has a crap load of billionaires that wanna keep their stuff, and those Chinese billionaires, they all got cool stuff here. And you know as well as I do, China is not a communist country. China is a communist country for the rank and file people. But there is an economic class in China that are as capitalistic as the rest of the
Yeah, well,
world.
that's what all
Yeah,
communist governments do. They're
yeah,
like
that's why
Mos
we have the oligarchs.
when
Yeah.
when the Soviet Union collapsed, Moscow had the most billionaires per capita of any city on the planet. So
Well, but that was a resource grab. That was because all of a sudden,
right, right, and in Animal Farm, this is the pigs that live in the house, and the rest of us live in a totally different lifestyle. No,
there was
it's par.
there is a story about the guy who is Vladimir Putin's, like, I don't know, his Pete Buttigieg, his transportation secretary, the guy that's in charge of, all of the airports and all that stuff. So this guy is the son of an oligarch who is like worth, I don't know, $10 billion or whatever. His dad was a bus driver. He was the guy who scheduled the routes during the communist era for all of the, bus drivers for the city of Moscow. And when the Soviet Union fell, he just took all the buses. He just said, "There's mine now." And he built this busing and trucking empire in like 2 years after he was just a bus driver. I mean, it was just a land grab. Everybody, as soon as that shit fell, I mean, imagine if, our system here in America fell and they said, "Okay, start over." I'd be like, I don't know, I'd be murdering people up and down this block going,
You
"This
just
is
be like,
my house. This is my house. This is my house."
yeah, Dart is mine now.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, if you were a bus driver and you had the keys to the garage,
Yes, Dart's mine now.
who's going to tell you it's not?
Right.
Because nobody owned it. The people that owned it, were being dragged out in the street. They were all the states owned it. I don't know. That I'm not that concerned about China. I just think that China depends on the status quo. There is a lot of very happy, super rich people in China who really, sure, they're, yeah, they're not the most popular guy at the party, but they do fine. They're fine. They're okay with this sort of global pecking order. They like that they're the mysterious, powerful dragon of the East. They're fine with that, and I think that's what they want. I think what's funny about China though, in China's military history. Do you know that over the course of the centuries, China has been absolutely dominated by Japan? Japan is just this tiny little island, and they have dominated China throughout the ages. And so I mean, I don't know. Have we ever seen China be a real scary military force? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, see that throughout history, though, China was never China. It's always been divided and fighting amongst itself for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
And whenever Mongolia rose up and they had their little moment of greatness, the first people they went and killed was China, and man, there. What was this?
It was the Mandarins versus the Cantonese. The Mandarin speakers and the Cantonese
Yeah, but when
speakers.
the Mongolians, like when Genghis Khan finally comes and takes Beijing, whatever it used to be called before that, I know we used to call it Peking, but it had a different name before that. Anyway, it was like the most populated city on the planet. There was more than 1 million people there, and they just went in and they killed so many people, and then they burned the city down. That if you went in after all the dead bodies and after the fire finally went out, there was like a layer of human fat in all the streets that was like 3 inches thick, because all the bodies that were burned, and the fat would melt and flow into the street, and then when it cooled off, it just solidified again.
That's a nice picture you just painted for us all, James. Thank you so much for that.
But China has you're right. China has this weird history of they get kicked around by the Mongolians pretty hard. They get kicked around by their neighbor pretty hard. Then they get kicked around by the Japanese pretty hard.
And they've also got a very large population of people who are essentially slave labor. And I don't know how much patriotism, if you find yourself in a world war, how many of these people whose lives are pretty bad, I mean, people, there's what is it, 2 billion people in China, something like that, some crazy amount of
Like
people.
1.4, I think.
They're almost all broke. I don't
Oh yeah.
know. I don't know that if it came down to a world war where China was against other, I don't know that they could depend on all of these people. Yeah,
They never do. That's why they keep losing. That's why they keep getting the crap kicked out of them. When Hitler just started annexing part of, he annexes Austria and then the Sudetenland, and let's split Poland with Stalin. That is exactly the same time Japan was like, you know what? We don't really have a whole lot of resources on this handful of floating islands. Let's just go take Manchuria. And so, yeah, they took like giant chunks, like almost half of China, and then sort of enslaved them there. And it was just these dudes that were in these islands floating out in the
They
bay.
dominated China. They Japan, what was it, the Sino-Japanese Wars or whatever is that? The Japanese, just those people, man. Look out for those people. I mean, those people, they've been
They
out
have a
taking their coverage for centuries.
Yeah, and they have a special place in the whole like world as far as everything goes, whether it's science, technology,
Mm,
culture, art,
mm,
all
mm.
that. Yeah, talk about fighting out of your weight class. Because think of the stuff that you do use from Japan, and I don't mean like it was snapped together in Japan, like Nintendo. Like the
The
whole
tech, Japanese tech.
right, Sony,
Mhm.
Panasonic, Yamaha, not Panasonic, Yamaha, Mitsubishi, Toyota, Honda,
Nissan.
all these companies, but it's stuff that you not only use and use all day every day. It's very innovative stuff, like the Sony PlayStation. So they're pretty awesome, but then they also do these whole ethereal concepts that have totally won us over too, like the
Toyota.
idea of ninjas. The Vietnamese didn't come up with ninjas. The Japanese came up with ninjas, right?
Yeah.
And
What are samurais? Aren't samurais Japanese too?
they're on both sides. There's some samurais in China and Japan. That one did kind of cross boundaries. But
Also, James, don't forget you can buy soiled panties in a vending machine in China.
I know, and what, sniff them, I guess.
I
Look.
guess.
So there's
Sexually
also
speaking, the Japanese are freaky people.
there's also sushi, which no other country has what sushi is, and just trying to nail out how brilliant it is sounds really stupid because it's the ancient traditional Japanese art of not cooking fish. And so I don't. It is good. Like
Very good.
what a
I
good
love
sell job there.
Mm. Yeah, that's. I think that one's gonna lose though. That one's gonna lose. I can only name sushi. That's it. I can rattle off 10 Chinese Cantonese dishes that are unbelievable. Chop suey's better than sushi. 7 days a week. Chop suey's better than sushi.
Right, but there's no other country that does sushi. There's no other country
I
that
see.
has this whole raw fish regimen and a whole menu that's based on not cooking something.
And convince the world to enjoy it and pay top price for it.
All right, this is gourmet. You didn't even cook it. That's the trick.
That's
No,
the
it's
trick.
not. No, it's not. You cut it. You didn't
No.
even cook it. You just cut it and rolled it up.
Here, I got something I want to show to you. We were talking about the Russian economy and what's kind of happening with the Russian economy. This was on Russian TV today. Let me pull this up. This will give you an idea of how well things are going. First of all, 8,000 people have now been 8,000 people have been arrested in Moscow and St. Petersburg. People are getting pissed. They're protesting, and you don't just protest in that country. That's not something that's in the cards. You're not really allowed to do that. Um,
Are they upset about the lack of slag and ash? The disruption in the supply of slag and ash.
you mean the rape supply that is no
Yeah, right. The rape seed. Yes.
longer? No, this is a Russian Kremlin controlled TV. The Moscow mayors, like all the mayors of the cities around Moscow, they had that vote and made the official statement that Putin needs to stand down, that this is a losing war and that he's destroying when in recent history has anyone had the balls in Russia to be that public about their dissension towards something Putin wanted? I mean, that's why I'm saying it doesn't look like it's good. So here is a guy. This is I don't know who this is. What is she? She's like the Laura Ingraham of Russia or whatever. It's a news program from earlier tonight, and they're talking about the stock situation. And it's in Russian, but I'll give you an idea of what the conversation was. So it's about Russia, and they brought in this young Russian stock whiz who is this. He's on the show a lot, and they brought him in to sort of calm the people down, to basically, we need you to come in and be on TV, and we need you to tell everybody that it's going to be fine. And instead, here's what he did. I'll tell you because it's in Russian. So you'll have to watch it, but I'll tell you what he did. Instead of calming the people down, he was asked, "What is your give us a snapshot of the future of the Russian economy?" And he said, "Well, I'll tell you this much: my career direct trajectory is to work as a professional Santa Claus now." And then he reaches under his table, pulls out a drink, opens it, and cheers to the death of the stock market in Russia and pounds it. And then it cuts back to the woman, and she's like she doesn't know how to react to this. Like this guy, he shows up, he's wearing like a t-shirt. He looks like he has had one hell of a week and he's just done. He's like, yeah, it ain't looking good. But he was brought on. You see, this is one of those Russian, big propaganda sort of shows. He was brought on. He has no fear. The idea that people are going on TV without fear right now has got to tell us something about what the person on the street in Russia is thinking at this moment about how the war is going. So here, let's just watch the guy and you'll see what he does. Analyst on Russian TV drinks to the death of the Russian stock market. That's crazy. All right, is it Sharon? Can we see it there? There we go. Okay, let me make it big for you. All right. Is it big now? Did it get big, James?
No, it did not.
Did not. That's the wrong one. Okay. Oh boy.
This woman is beautiful though.
Yeah, she's a fine looking lady. All right, we'll do that one instead. All righty. Here we go. Whoop.
Share screen.
Sorry, I'm having a little bit of difficult. Okay. There's that.
Sometimes Russian people have that German effect where it sounds like people are speaking English, but then you flip the tape over and you're playing it backwards.
How about now? Is it good?
Yes, perfect.
All right, this guy. So I just told you what he says. So here,
so pretty.
He is pretty. Here's the clip.
Со мной в студии сегодня Александр Бутманов, экономист, основатель инвестиционного клуба «Союзники», эксперт по биржевым стратегиям. Александр, здравствуйте.
Приветствую, добрый день, не говорю.
Да, никто уже сейчас не говорит. Биржевые стратегии сегодня это вообще атовизм или вы еще надеетесь в профессии остаться?
В крайнем случае я буду работать Дедом Морозом, как 25 лет назад.
Ну, это раз в год только. Ну,
да. Кроме шуток, давайте быстренько я это сделаю. Я передаю привет Сергею Усиченко, который пел 12 лет назад, 13, за смерть фондового рынка. Сегодня я пью газировку. Дорогой фондовый рынок, ты был нам близок, был интересен. Покойся с миром, дорогой товарищ.
Я не буду комментировать этот флешмоб, не хочу потому что верить. Давайте про
Look at the way she rolls her eyes. She's like, okay.
Был близок, был интересен. Покойся с миром, дорогой товарищ.
Я не буду комментировать этот флешмоб, не хочу, потому что я в это верить.
Come on, don't you love his cocky? We're all going to hell, people.
Yeah, see you at the labor camp, Trish.
Покойся с миром, дорогой товарищ.
Я не буду комментировать этот флешмоб, не хочу, потому что я в это верить.
I can't wait till my trial when they put all the memes on the big board. You know, you're going down anyway. Might as well get a good laugh at it.
That is a guy who has had one hell of a week. Yes, he's probably seen his personal net worth just bottom out, and he is all out of F's to give. He's just like... Yeah, so a snapshot of the Russian economy. An investment expert goes live on the air and says his current career trajectory is to work as a Santa Claus, and then he drinks to the death of the stock market.
Is there a dude in America with that haircut on TV anywhere?
I don't think so, but hey, you know what else? Hold on, man. I just found one with subtitles. Wouldn't you rather see it with subtitles?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, let me give it to you with subtitles. Okay. I didn't see that one before. She's cute. See you in the camp, Trish. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Just give it a second. Things take a minute. There we go. All right, here we are. All right, let me pop this one. So we'll get rid of this one. Pull this up. Here we go. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, good. This is the one with subtitles. So now we can actually read what he's saying.
Good. Much better.
Okay, this is Peter. There we go. Peter Lekayev. Peter Lekayev. All right. There we go. There's Trish. Trish, you know Putin's banging Trish. You know Putin watches Trish every night on TV. Trish makes special trips to the Kremlin.
He hasn't yet, but she's like one of the backup plans. He just installed her for a rainy day.
Со мной в студии сегодня Александр Бутманов, экономист, основатель инвестиционного клуба «Союзники», эксперт по биржевым стратегиям. Александр, здравствуйте.
Приветствую, добрый день, не говорю.
Да, никто уже сейчас не говорит. Биржевые стратегии сегодня это вообще атовизм или вы еще надеетесь в профессии остаться?
В крайнем случае я буду работать Дедом Морозом, как 25 лет назад.
Ну, это раз в год только. Ну,
да. Кроме шуток, давайте быстренько я это сделаю. Я передаю привет Сергею Усиченко, который пил 12 лет назад, 13, за смерть фондового рынка. Сегодня я пью газировку. Дорогой фондовый рынок, ты был нам близок.
You were interesting. Rest in peace, dear comrade. Dear stock market, you were interesting to us.
Я не буду комментировать этот флешмоб, не хочу, потому что я в это верить. Со мной в студии сегодня...
How about her response?
I'm not going to comment on this stunt.
Который пил 12 лет назад, 13, за смерть фондового рынка. Сегодня я пью газировку.
Dear stock market, you were close to us. You were interesting. Rest in peace, dear comrade.
Дорогой фондовый рынок, ты был нам близок, был интересен.
That look.
Yeah. Sergey, you're going to die.
Покойся с миром, дорогой товарищ.
You're going to get killed.
Okay.
Я не буду комментировать.
I'm not going to comment on the stunt because I don't want to believe it.
I'm not going to the camp with your ass, Sergey.
Right.
Or Alexander, that's his name.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. People can't get Netflix. People are pissed. People can't get their new debit cards because Visa and MasterCard will no longer do business with Russian banks.
Things are so bad he's drinking carbonated water.
Jeff says that's like the flight attendant who popped a beer and went down the slide. Yeah.
Hero.
That's a hero. All right. Hey, did you have anything else that you wanted to get into? We're over time right now, but I did want to talk about one thing really quickly.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, okay, Tim, we'll do this one really quick. Do you know who Sydney Sweeney is?
No.
Oh, you need to right now Google search Sydney Sweeney. She is fantastic.
Let me guess. She's beautiful.
Yeah, a little young for us, but still, whatever. They make them younger and younger.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. She's, I don't know if you've watched it. HBO's The White Lotus, which was such a good show last year. She's also one of the stars of this Euphoria show. Everybody talks about Euphoria. I don't watch it.
I haven't watched it. I'm aware it exists. You know what? This girl's going to be real hot when she's 40.
She's 25, 24, 25, something like that. So she's,
she's going
to age well. You can tell she's going to age well. She's going to be fantastic because her skin isn't all tight. You know what I mean? It's like she's going to age into it. She's going to look beautiful. She's going to age.
Yeah, she loses a little bit of this baby fat and that face sharpens up. She is going to be a statue. You're going to carve her out of marble for future generations to enjoy.
So Sydney Sweeney is trending right now. And this isn't even the thing I want to talk about. We'll do this quickly. Sydney Sweeney is trending right now because she's being applauded because she went and got herself engaged. She's engaged and everybody's talking about, oh, Sydney's so wonderful. She's engaged to just a regular guy. She's engaged to a civilian. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Was she getting engaged to a cop? What'd she get engaged to? A fireman? She's getting engaged to the son of a billionaire. That's not, you don't get credit for that, right?
No, none. No.
Yeah.
You don't get credit. If there's 0% chance you end up in a trailer, then no, you're not dating a normal person.
Sydney Sweeney just got engaged to a completely random normal guy who isn't even on social media. Because his family probably owns Instagram. He's a billion. His family's like he's a super rich guy. So that just pissed me off. I was like, oh, let's find out what this guy, what does he coach Little League? And, he works in a bank.
Do they realize normal people do have Facebook and Instagram?
I guess so. Jeff says, Pugs, I watched a show today on Netflix. Most horrible roommate ever. Apparently the Tinder swindler chicks got off easy. Yeah, I'm Jeff. I'm looking at most horrible roommate. I am. I'm thinking I'm going to start with the last 2 episodes that seem to be a part 1 and part 2 because they're
Hey, along that vein, and I got to run, but I want to leave you with this. This whole Tinder swindler vein with inventing Anna, isn't that what it was?
Tinder swindler was different than inventing Anna.
I know, but it's got the same.
Both my heroes, yeah.
Yeah, but they these are people who are living a lie and swindling people out of money, just millions left and right. We showed my brother-in-law.
Hold on. You say living a lie. I say doing a bit. They're just doing a bit. They're not living a lie.
Right. Well, they're doing that's a nice way of saying it's not the truth. But
yeah,
we found the ground zero for this phenomenon, or at least this style of documentary / entertainment. That was the Fire Festival documentary. That was the first one we remember where it's in this format where we're just going to spread this out over a couple hours or a few episodes. And
yeah, probably. Yeah. Although there had been things on like the A&Es and Discovery networks over the years, like the Rook on Court guy. I don't know if you remember that guy. He was the guy who convinced everybody that he was a Rockefeller. Really, he was just a gypsy. He was just some like poor Eastern European gypsy, but he came to New York and LA and everybody was convinced that he was a Rockefeller and whatever. All right, James, you can go. Hey, but guess who I got for? Well, that was rather abrupt. Would you not agree, James? Okay. All right. Well, then it'll just be a surprise. It'll just have to be a surprise the next time I talk to James. I had something I was going to tell him, and I was going to probably make him happy, but he bailed out way too quickly. Guys, I am exhausted, so I'm going to go and I'm going to lay down. I ran my 3 miles today. We will be back tomorrow at noon for the High Noon Show, and should anything really bad happen with this nuclear power plant, I can probably be pulled out of bed. But I guess that's going to be it. Got a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Hey, here's something I want to talk about. No hate on this. There's no hate on this. This is an honest to God question. This is I don't understand this. I don't get this. I've been noticing this a lot. So the whole pronouns thing about how we're all whatever use proper pronouns for people. I mean, I'm fine. I'm on board with it. But why do I see a lot of people who are the gender that we assume they are feeling the need to state their pronouns? Like a dude who's just a regular dude, why in his like Twitter thing does it say he, him? I'm like, yeah, that's what I don't know. Yeah, that's what I thought. It seems like the only people who should put they, them are the people who are trying to let us know how to address them properly. Otherwise, don't we just always address people properly? I mean, if it's a girl and she's a girl and, just like, that's a girl. Why would her thing have to say she, her? I totally understand why it's done with somebody who's, gender fluid or whatever, they, them. I get that. I understand that. They're the ones who we need to get it right for. But I don't need to be reminded if you're just like a normal person. No, I don't mean normal. You know what I'm saying? If you are a traditional gender, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I had somebody say to me, this goes back a while. Somebody said to me like a long time ago, like, why don't you have your pronouns? And I'm like, well, because I just assume everybody knows what I am what they assume. That's fine. So for a while, I had my pronouns on my Twitter feed, and it just said it, that. Like, I'm like, those are my pronouns, it and that. And then I took that down because I thought, well, I don't want to make fun of it, because the people who actually have they, them, they're putting it there to help us, right? Isn't that why they include that? So that we know that who we're looking at, this is what they identify as, and we should be respectful and do it appropriately. So I get why somebody who is not what I saw that today on somebody who I started to follow. And then I went to their, I followed, I began following them today. So I followed them, and then I looked at their page and it said he, him. And I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of assumed that. That seems like a waste of characters in your bio. You could have put something else interesting about yourself. That I assumed. So I don't know. That was just something I was thinking about. You're being bigoted. No, I'm not. You're being dumb. I'm not being bigoted. I'm asking questions. I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm trying to understand why I would feel the need to put he, him, because I see a lot of people doing that. It's like, well, yeah. I figured that. And then when I see somebody who is gender, I don't even know what the word is, but and I see their thing says they, them, I go, okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Appreciate the help. Now I know, should I encounter you, how I should refer to you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I will continue to try and be respectful. But when it's somebody who's just, well, yeah, he, him, your name is Brad Johnson or whatever, you talking about your wife in the picture. Yeah, I kind of got the feeling that, I don't know. It seemed a bit showy. I've been calling out lately things that I think are examples of people just trying too hard to the whole moral grandstanding. Most of us are on board. You don't have to force me to try and play. I don't. Anyway, also I wanted to get into. There's a whole bunch of interesting stories, but these are things that are trending, so we'll talk about them tomorrow. So we'll probably get into them tomorrow. So don't worry, you're not missing out on anything. I am so tired. I am, Jeff. I have questions about these things. No judgment. Well, actually, yeah, I do have judgment for a lot of things, but in this particular case, no judgment. I don't want to fight with anybody. I just want to get along with people, and I want to respect people. But don't be overly sensitive. Don't be, don't just assume that I'm a bad guy because I'm asking some nice questions. You know what this is like? People always used to say, I never understood this. I have this thing where if there is something that is obviously wrong, okay? Like let's say you've got one arm, right? Let's say I meet you, we're out with a group of people and we're hanging out and you've got one arm. 100% of the time, I will say to this person, so what's the story with the arm? And 100% of the time, people around me will go, and I'm like, what he knows he doesn't have, he knows he only has one arm. It's probably the greatest story of his life. He probably wants to talk. Why are you people just ignoring it? Like I'm not going to treat him any differently, but I would like to know. And I'll also tell you that 100% of the time, that person is very receptive to the question. Nobody ever goes, what? People are so nobody does that. Nobody does that. They go, oh, well, you know what? And then they tell you a story. I always do that with people. Somebody is blind. Have you been blind from since birth, or is this something that came about? Well, no, actually, I was born with bad eyes. I had a bunch of surgeries, and then by the time I was 20, it went away. Oh, wow, okay, so you do have, and then you engage them in a conversation about the probably most important thing that's ever occurred to them, losing their sight or whatever. And they appreciate it. But it's all these other people who don't know how to react and be human to one another that go, oh my God, I can't believe you mentioned that he was blind. Now, you don't walk up to a fat person and go, how'd you get so fat? That you don't do that, but I don't know. Treat people like people. People are interesting. Engage with them. So that's the whole reason I'm wondering about those. So why on your bio does it say he, him? I mean, I assumed as much. I'm wondering why that's there. Unless their father did it right before he killed their mother. What did I read this out of whack? Leslie, I cringe when people say things like exist in this space. Leslie, you know what? That is interesting. When I was on my run today, I do some of my best thinking when I'm on my run. When I was on my run today, I was thinking about compiling a list of things that people say that tell me all I need to know about them. For phrases, like certain things, like what would be a good one? Hold on. I had a whole bunch of them when I'm so tired. I had a whole bunch of them. Okay, like if somebody refers to a group of people as sheeple, I'll be like, okay, I know where you're coming from. Okay, that word, you using that phrase, or dudes who call other dudes cucks. I'm like, oh, I get where you are. Or people who say things like, oh God, there were some good ones. I had some good ones because those two are kind of on the right, but I had some on the left too that would just drive me nuts. I don't know, whatever. It's not woke because everybody says woke, but I hate that phrase too. Don't use the word for it. That's political speak. That's programming speak. Those are words that you didn't hear 5 years ago. Now you say it all the time because whatever you listen to that fills your head with bullshit, that's just something you're going to parrot now out into the. I hate it. What were some of the other ones? There's a bunch of I gave two on the right. I had a bunch on the left too that people on the left say that I can't stand. I don't know. I'll think of them. But yeah, I want to come up with a list of those, like just words, phrases, things that people say now to get their point across that just tell me exactly that they're either not open-minded or that they're just it's not. Oh man. The song's going to run out and I'm not going to think. I had a bunch of them. Oh, well. I'm really tired, folks. I apologize. We will be back tomorrow at noon for High Noon. We'll go through all of the day's topics, all of the current events, headlines, trending topics, all of those kinds of things. And I'll see you then. I can't even speak. So tired. I'm so tired. What does Jeff say? Jeff says, I hate when people say these ones or those ones. These ones or those ones. Oh, here's one. If someone ever describes something that happened to them and they say that they're shook. Ugh. Oh, stop it. No, you're not. I'm shook. Stop it, you cuck. Hey, see what I did there? But there's a whole bunch. That wasn't even one that I was thinking of. All right. Bye, everybody. The minute I sign off, I'm going to remember like 5 of them. Mansplaining. There you go. That's one of them. If anyone ever says, you're mansplaining, I go, oh, God, that's a programmed word that you just picked up over the last couple of years. All right, there's more too. Bye, folks.